Hey guys, I'm Coach Shay. I'm a mental performance coach living down here in Florida. I work with a ton of college athletes all over the country. I also work with a lot of high school athletes that are going to play sports in college. Um, Today, I want to talk about, knowing your why. And this is I met with a guy this morning. He's going to go play college football, D1 football, and I met him this morning. And I just asked him point blank, why are you working so hard? Why are you doing this? What's the purpose for this? How's this help you? And it's a legit question. And I think that you need to know your why. You need to know why you're doing this. Why are you working so hard? Why are you training? Who are you doing this for? And I think a lot of people don't have any idea. They just know it's the next step. But the reality is, when you get to the college level, especially when you get to those early training, they're gonna be working you so hard that you got to know why you're doing it. Because if you don't have the right reasons, you'll quit. Because the system is designed to push you past your limits. The system is designed. They need to push guys out. So I don't know what the numbers are. I would very easily say probably you're looking at 10%. Uh, 10% of guys don't make it through the season one way or the other, where they usually an average team will lose. Usually lose three or four guys at the beginning of the year that were freshmen, that they just realize really quickly, I can't do this. I can't get up this early. I can't I can't have these long days. I can't have coaches yelling at me. Whatever it is. But there's I don't know what the total numbers are for guys dropping out of the program, but it's hard on those guys. I've never had one of my clients quit, and for I think a lot of it has to do with, we just prepare 6 to 8 months in advance for what they're going into, and really what they're going into is boot camp, and nobody's prepared for boot camp except my clients. And the reason they're prepared is because they're now getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They're now working out 5:30 in the morning. They're now running, where they weren't doing these things. They might have done them, but it was more, I'm going to the gym after school. But now it's first thing. They're going early in the morning. So I think it's important to know your why. And for some kids, it's a business deal. They're getting paid, and if they, this person I was talking to today, he's getting paid. He's got a full scholarship. He's getting money on top of that. And basically, I told him, I was like, so what's choice number two? And he's like, choice number two. And I was like, yeah, you got to know what your backup plan is. What happens if this doesn't work out? And he basically said, I'm coming back home and I got to pay for my own education, probably at Central Florida, and I probably have to work while I'm in school. And so when you kind of put it in perspective like that, the hard work, the early mornings, all that kind of stuff is not a big deal compared to working at Publix, compared to cutting grass, compared to a lot of these low level, entry level jobs that our 18 to 22-year-olds are doing. So, we really just kind of had to figure out what's his why. And he had multiple reasons, and we told him out. But I think, the fact that it's a business decision is one piece of it. That is a component. The client I'm working with, he's got some future aspirations as far as just professional career. And so it's not just like everything's wrapped up in football. He's big enough, so we'll just kind of see how that goes. But I think it's important to understand, you have to understand on multiple levels why you're doing this. And if you're going to be successful at this, you have to like the grind. You have to like to work out. You have to like to push yourself. You have to like working with guys in 100-degree weather, in 30-degree weather. You can't complain about that stuff. And once people get the right perspective about it, and they understand, I'd rather be doing this than doing these low level jobs. For most of these kids, it makes it easier for them to buy into what a program is trying to do. And I think one thing that you have to understand about these programs, and this is one of the things I tell all my guys, is, um, you know, They have guys that do things the right way, and they have guys that are excelling. But then there's a group of guys that are not doing things the right way. They're not going to bed at the right time. They're staying up too late, playing too many video games, and they come into practice tired, and the workload is so strong that when these guys are not, if they don't have good habits, it really shows up under the pressure. And so I think what I tell my guys is you got to be a part of this group. Don't be part of this group, because once you're identified as slow, you're behind, you don't do things the right way, you're questioning the coaches. Once you get in that category, it can be a very, very rough experience, because there's only one way to do things, and that's the coach's way. If you don't like that, you, you're either going to be on a very rough road, or they're going to push you out and tell you they don't have a scholarship for you the next year, or you're just going to quit. Either way, it's kind of like a bad breakup. So, my thing is do things the right way, get on this side of the equation. And these are the kind of things that I work with clients every single day. And this stuff seems like it would be fairly obvious, but it's not. It's not. And, I just talked to a person yesterday that they had a full ride plus money plus other stuff, and they didn't like their coach. And once they went off to college, they were like, "Hey, I got this now. I got it under control." Well, I just found out yesterday that they don't have it under control, and they're not in that college anymore. And now they're having to pay to go to another school, and they're not even on that sports program. And these are the kind of things. I mean, I don't know if we're talking about $300,000 swing, but it's a significant amount of money, and 18-year-olds can't make these kind of decisions on their own. They're not intelligent enough. Honestly, they don't really understand. Hey, I'm not going to play there anymore. I'm just gonna just go to school. Well, you're talking about a massive financial decision, and nobody's going to walk away from $300,000 sitting on a table. You're not going to just say, it's okay, I don't need that. But people do it, and they do it out of naivety, ignorance, incompetence on some level too. So a lot of this stuff is things that college kids are debating with their parents and all this kind of stuff, and it's you have to be business savvy with a lot of this stuff, because there's a lot at stake. And if you don't have a backup plan, and you don't have some kind of something else going on, it can be very, very expensive. So all that being said, these are things that I work with high school and college athletes every single day, and their families, helping them navigate the whole college experience, the high school sports experience, where they can enjoy it, where their child can play at the highest levels. And so, all that being said, I'm Coach Jay. I'm listed on Psychology Today as Coach Jay, down in Ponte Vedra, Florida. Live near St. Augustine, Jacksonville area. Also, you can find me on sportsintervention.com. That's my webpage. And then I'm on X as College Scout FB. So I hope you'll subscribe, hope you'll watch more videos, and hopefully you too can get better. Thank you.